It's Mark from Stock Pursuit. We're going to look at some stocks that I've been looking at lately. I'll go over my favorite drone stock at the moment. Drone news out last night was that the US government is looking to take equity stakes, in other words, invest and get equity in these drone companies. Some of them are private. One of the public companies was the Unusual Machines, UMAC. That's like had a really big surge today, and there's this rotation across the board into a lot of drone companies. One of my favorite drone companies, it's really small. When I when I invest in companies, I try to find them before they've gotten a lot of institutional awareness and a lot of analysts on them. When you find companies that are smaller, they just have more room to grow to the upside. When a company that is small can grow revenues faster, they grow faster. And you see that reflected in the stock price too. The stock price will follow the sales and earnings growth. And when you've got really strong sales, that can be a good catalyst for a stock price growth. A big company just can't grow as fast. And as small investors or traders, you can take advantage of that. We can take advantage of these small companies that these institutions aren't really looking at, or they can't really put a big enough position on to make a difference on their portfolio. The DPRO, I've liked this one a long time. I did some in-depth research on the fundamentals. They've had really good consistent sales growth over the past. I was looking at it; it was forming a rounding base bottom here. One of my favorite chart patterns, where stock is just beaten down for a long time, and then it just kind of slowly starts to find a base, and it comes up into what some people would call a cup and handle. Looks like there's the cup, and there's the handle that was trying to go, but it failed. But it actually just reclaimed. This level here is a big level that it reclaimed, and this reclaim is very key technically, because that's the big level, and it's holding here above. And I've got this one. I've got my long-term account, and I had some UMAC too. I didn't have a lot of UMAC, but I just happened to have that one because it has a really high short interest. Like the short interest is over 15%, and that probably had something to do with how much the stock was up today, because it was up a lot. So when there's a lot of people that are shorting a stock, they have to cover into the news, and they end up covering higher and higher, and the stock just keeps going, and it just reclaimed the technical level. When it broke this downtrend here, see this downtrend. When it broke that, that was a signal that the downtrend had broken, and the ASTI continues to one of my favorite solar companies. It's very speculative, but it's a good speculative long term solar. Another good day in solar today too. Plug is coming up on this major level here. That was the major breakout from last year, and I want to see it react well off that and hold. I'm I'm committed regardless to the long term. I like the long term story because it's fuel cell, obviously, and one of the best fuel cell plays. And another one that I've been that I've been covering is the MITK. MITK was in this channel for a long time, and it broke out of the channel the other day. They do internet security, like fraud protection and biometric security, and I see that becoming more and more important as these AI agents and AI starts to become a problem, cyber fraud and things like that. And it's a smaller company, and they have a lot of room to grow on the upside.